Can I have that microphone? Okay. Good morning. I should say good afternoon. I'm Thomas Brickner. I'm the instructor for this class, Physical Science 1121. This is section 2. We have an outline of several things that we're going to tackle today. The first thing that we're going to do is introductions. This is how you spell my name. I'm a PhD in theoretical astrophysics, a doctor. And my research area is black holes and the Big Bang Theory, the early universe. And one of the research tools I use is something called quantum field theory. Now, you guys aren't going to be learning about quantum field theory, not a lot, maybe just a little bit this semester. But yeah, that's what my research area is. And the last 5-6 years, I've been doing a little bit of writing as well. So it's kind of an interesting situation. I want to introduce some TAs that will normally be here during the week. The first one is Darian Fry. She's in the left, biology and music major. She's not here this morning. The second one is Caroline Pittman. This is Caroline up here. She's an undergraduate psych major. And she's on the right side of that picture. And in case you're wondering, Dr. Brickner, what is that big stack of papers? Those were the final exams from December, just a few weeks ago, a month ago. Big stack of final exams. Anyways, they were getting ready and they took that nice picture. So Darian and Caroline, you'll be seeing them every week, and you'll be talking to them in web courses. By the way, a couple students asked me after the first lecture, Dr. B, is web courses ready yet, or is it still? It's not quite ready yet, but it'll be ready for you guys by hopefully soon after class, but for sure by supper time. And you'll have a little homework assignment tonight. And the reason for the delay is that we had to combine this section and the morning section into one ginormous section, and so it took a little bit of, talking to some guys in the basement of the library, and then they had to talk to some other guys, and anyways, it's almost ready, and it should be ready by supper time tonight, in case you're wondering. By the way, my last name Brickner is pronounced Brickner like bricks. It's a German last name. And it's infinitely mispronounceable and infinitely misspellable. So if you feel like you're about to misspell it or mispronounce it, just say Dr. B. That's fine. That's traditionally what students refer to me as, Dr. B. All right? So you can do the same. Now, another thing that we have this semester is something called supplemental instructions. And this is a picture of Maria. She is the SI leader. She was the SI leader last semester. She does a great job. We're going to have the schedule of meetings up and running hopefully next week. And I'll announce that. We'll have it in web courses. We'll have it in the presentation every day in lecture, so you won't have any problem about coming or attending SI. Now, we have a message from one of the other SARC leaders, and that's Katie. Katie, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Katie Wilhelm. I'm a graduate assistant with SARC, and so I oversee the supplemental instruction program. Who here has heard of SI before? Okay, so some of you. Just as a refresher, supplemental instruction are 4 weekly scheduled sessions led by Maria, who is a phenomenal SI leader, in order to review practice problems, test material, get ready for your next tests or quizzes. It is a supplement to lecture, so you still need to attend lecture on a regular basis. Supplemental instruction is a supplement to that. Studies have shown that those who attend SI on a regular basis receive, on average, 1 letter grade higher than students who do not regularly attend SI. So SI is a free resource for you. It's highly encouraged. So So and the schedule will come out within the next week or two, and Dr. B will post it, and Maria is it's going to be submitted on the first lecture section, but she's excited to get to know all of you as well. So thank you.
Hold on. Questions? Anyone have a question about SI? I have a question. Do you have to go to every session?
You don't have to go to every session, but what we do in sessions is that it's catered towards what you want to do. So Maria comes prepared. She sits in on the lecture. She knows what's going on in class. But if there's a concept or a question that you specifically have, you bring that to the session. You ask Maria, and then you will discuss it in class with whoever, in sessions with whoever else is there. So it's very much catered based off of what you want to do. So you don't have to attend every session, but it's encouraged to attend as many as possible, just to go over everything that you would like to go over.
Okay, thanks, Katie. And just to verify, Katie, it really does make a difference with your grades. I mean, one letter grade higher is definitely. I mean, we check it every semester. Yeah, it's true. So if you can go to one or two sessions a week or more, yeah, you're gonna notice it in your exam grades. And there'll be review sessions and stuff. We'll have it all announced. It'll be on the first slide that you saw with the outline of the day. I'll have the SI schedule on that page as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about this class, physical science. We're going to do some physics and a little bit of chemistry and maybe a little bit of geology and maybe a little bit of astronomy, kind of on the side, in passing. Mostly physics. But to get you started with to get your mind about, kind of wrapped around the whole idea of what we're going to be doing, I'm going to start with this picture. I was looking at pictures of people using their... See, I could see some people in the back of the room. They got their faces down on their cell phones right now. Just like these two people up here, And, you go out of class at the end of class, and first thing people do, they get their cell phone out and they check it, or they just start talking, And it always strikes me, why is it that we do that? I mean, your parents might have yelled at, "Why are you always in your phone?" Something like that, and it's very noticeable. Why do we do that? Why are cell phones such magnets for your attention? What are we looking for? I mean, the things that we look at in life, oh man, don't you love looking at a sunset? Up in the mountains, see, this is up in Virginia, up in the Shenandoah Valley, the Blue Ridge Mountains in the Shenandoah Valley. Here's a picture a friend of mine took with his camera. Look at that, a raptor. I think that's an osprey catching a fish for his supper. Why does that catch your eye? What is it? I mean, these sunsets, these raptors, what is it that you're looking for? Here's another picture. Look, what is this? We're looking at a picture of Senator Scott from South Carolina taking the oath of office a couple years ago. Why do we take an oath going into office, government office? And if you're really serious about your oath, you get your mom to hold the Bible. That's this mom sits right there in the middle. Congressional testimony. Why is it that we take an oath? There's the FBI director, Comey, and a Marine called Oliver North a few years ago, taking the oath before testifying in Congress. Here's a bunch of, big shots like that, small shots, just regular civilians. Here's a bunch of regular folks testifying before Congress about something. Here's another one. Look at this. Court of law. What is that? I mean, what is the expectation? Why are we doing that? What is this thing that we're doing? I mean, everything, even these, this herd of kids, teenagers, it looks like, screwing around with their phones and stuff, and it looks like they're doing homework or something, doesn't it? I mean, what are they doing there? See that guy in the middle with the yellow pad? I never noticed it till just now. Look at that. All these things that we're doing. What is it? What is it that we are doing? This thing that we do as humans. We're exploring. We are learning. We are learners. That is our superpower. And what do we learn? The thing that we seek is the truth. And that is what we are about this semester. What is the sign of the truth? How do we recognize something that is true? We are going to answer that question in the style of Professor Galileo. He is the one that gave us the criterion by which we judge that which is true. I mean, think about that. Those guys taking an oath of office or in court. How does the oath go? I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's what it's about. Think about anything that you do. Anything that you do. You want it to be based on something that is true. Every single thing. Now, Galileo had a way called physical science, physics, natural philosophy, of determining the truth. And that is what we're going to be doing this semester. We're going to be following in the school of Galileo. Now, those of you that have got the textbook, the e-text, you'll be able to read the introduction and learn all about the school of Galileo. That's one of the things that I think about a lot. And it is basically answering the questions just like these two. All right. Now, I want to go over the syllabus with you. And so, Caroline, can you start distributing the syllabus? Do you have a question? I'll go over that with the syllabus in just a minute. Yes, the textbook author is Thomas Brickner. That's me. And when you start reading, you'll believe it. Because Caroline and the other TA, Darian, they said, Dr. B, this textbook sounds just like you in lecture. So you'll realize it. Anyways, yeah, I am the author. Also, just so you know, while Caroline's handing out these piles of, just sort of send them to the right and backwards so that everybody gets them. We're not going to count them out. Just whoever doesn't have one, get it, send it backwards and to the right. I'm recording this lecture. I use the Apple Keynote software. And I render it into QuickTime video and then upload it into YouTube. This lecture and the morning lecture as well. And so you'll be able to, if you do miss class, you can go and look at the YouTube lecture on, and usually I get it uploaded the same day. So right after class for you guys. So let's get these syllabuses out. And let me turn the lights up. I have another question before we get into the syllabus and while Caroline's handing out syllabi. Raise your hand if you are a student for which this class, which meets Thursday at noon until 1:30, 1:20, if you are a student for which this class is your last class of the week, raise your hand. Last class. Excellent. For those of you that didn't raise your hand, for those of you that did, we're going to dismiss early today, and hopefully we're going to dismiss early on many Thursdays. So you have that to look forward to. Who doesn't have a syllabus yet? Still. Okay, great. Who doesn't have a syllabus? Raise your hand. Okay, Caroline, we're good. All right, let's go through the syllabus. And this is the Section 2 syllabus that you've got. It says PSC 1121-002 syllabus at the top. Now, the very first table, we've already gone through some of that. My office is in the physical sciences building. Okay, it's over by Sumter. It's right next to the counseling center. And there's the shuttle bus, if you ever noticed that, the shuttle bus stop there. That's right, that's the physical sciences building. And I'm on the first floor. My actual office is 156, PS 156. But where we have office hours is a bigger room, one door away from that. On the other side of the elevator is room 158. And we'll have office hours every Wednesday from 9 until 11. We'll have them tomorrow. You can drop in. You don't have to schedule. You don't have to ask permission. All you have to do is show up. And if you want to talk about the price of tomatoes in Indonesia, that's fine with me. If you want to talk about Sir Isaac Newton, that's fine with me. Anything you want to talk about, you bring the agenda. All right? And you can drop by for the second 30 minutes and then bolt. If you have to, that's normal. If you can only make the last 15 minutes, squeeze it in before your next class, that's good. Just come and as, however many minutes you've got, and that'll be good. Course description, that's from the course catalog. Textbook, yes, that's me, Thomas J. Brickner. I am the author of this textbook. What is your name back there? Camille? Oh, very good. Okay. Camille, yes, I'm the author of this book. And there's the ISBN. It is an e-textbook. And students, I apologize that it's expensive. I understand that I don't even like to. Does anybody here work for the bookstore? Okay, I have to be nice then in what I'm about to say. The bookstore is sometimes a little bit organized, a little bit unusually organized. In other words, it's hard to understand how they're organized. And so I sometimes despair of ever getting things at the bookstore. But if you have to buy your book at the bookstore, it's like 115 or 121 or something like that. Anybody buy it there already? It's 100. I'll tell you guys, I haven't, I'm the author of the book, Camille. I haven't been paid for anything yet for 2 years. But they're getting all their money. And I mean, hopefully I'll get a little bit of money here at the back end. But I made it an ebook. I thought it would be a lot cheaper. And this may as well be a hardcover book at that price. But if you go down the page a little bit, it says ordering the textbook, the KendallHunt.com web address. You can get it there, and it's like 80-something bucks. So even that I consider expensive, but I wish it could be like 10 or 20 bucks and good. But I don't know. Somebody at Kendall Hunt needs a new Lexus, I guess. I don't know. So, anyways, there's the book, second edition. And the software is really nice. It's called Bookshelf from the vitalsource.com website. It works good. Our Twitter handle, brainwave77x, 777x. And we'll be using that every day in lecture for Caroline and Darian will be tweeting out basic lecture notes. The stream will be, and matter of fact, you can go and look at it at any time now and see the lecture notes from last semester. We started doing it at the beginning of the semester, and we went all through the semester with it. And I don't know, I think students used it. Final exam for this class is April 27th at 10 a.m. All right, so we don't meet at noon. Don't come at noon, or you're going to be TOAST. Toast. All right? Come at 10. All right? You'll have 3 hours to take a 2-hour test. The final exam is twice as big as a midterm, and a midterm is a 1-hour test. So it's a 2-hour final, but you have 3 hours to do it, basically. So, but not if you come at 12. So come at 10. Homework is going to be in web courses. Oh, by the way, up above there on the table, where it says email. No, do not use conventional email to communicate with me. A, there are too many students to handle. Okay. B, I cannot talk to you about grades and email. It is against federal federal regulation. Okay, you're not supposed to talk about grades on regular email. But web courses, yeah. So the inbox, the messaging system, I'm on that 24/7 most of the time. So just use that, and that's considered secure. We can talk about anything in that. Okay, ordering the textbook. Policies. All general UCF policies apply. Especially see the Golden Rule and the UCF Creed, in which the expectation is for academic integrity. You know, we were just talking about the expectation. Why is everything that we do, we have the expectation of truth in it? And if somebody tells you something that's false, you get ticked off. That means you had an expectation that it would be true. UCF, the same thing, academic integrity. Without that, it's TOAST. Accommodations. All right, this is an important paragraph. Let me read it verbatim. UCF is committed to providing reasonable accommodations for all persons with disabilities. Dr. Brickner, that's me, shares the same commitment. Students with disabilities who need accommodations must be registered with Student Accessibility Services, SAS, in the Farrell Commons, room 185, and the 2 phone numbers are there. You have to do that before requesting accommodations from me. Students registered with SAS that need accommodations must initiate contact through SAS and Knights Access, and their website address is right there, sas.sdes.ucf.edu. No accommodations will be provided until the student has used SAS and Knights Access to request accommodations. Now, if that applies to you, it's, just get the paperwork rolling. Every semester we have a bunch of students, and we do the accommodations, and we got it down to an art. We've got it down to a science. So it works good. But you got to get the paperwork rolling. Right? So do that, and you'll be squared away in short order. But don't wait until the week of the test. Do it NOW now. Okay. Mandatory exam attendance. Lovely exams. So much fun. At UCF, academics comes first. Oh my goodness. Underline that word and put a little sparkly star next to it. And if you can, a little unicorn with rainbows. Because that is my attitude. Academics comes first. I don't give a rip what you're doing off campus. Academics comes first. All right? I've got priority on your brain from 12 until 1:20, 2 days a week. All right? And I expect you to act that way. Ooh, boy, does that sound mean. Anyways, first priority for academics. Attendance at exams is mandatory. University excused absences are only for religious observances. Okay, so like Passover, Good Friday, something like that. Intercollegiate activities and athletics, military call-up, and university-verified family or medical emergency. Weddings, plane tickets your parents got at Priceline.com, etc., are not legitimate excuses. So if you come up to me and say, Dr. B, my parents got me tickets to my cousin's wedding and I got to go, it's up in New York, so I can't take the final. Can I take the final early? N-O. Never. Okay? But, these other things, yes, we can make accommodations for that. So let's keep going. It is physics department policy that making up missed work will only be permitted for university-sanctioned activities and bona fide medical or family reasons. Authentic justifying documentation must be provided in every case and in advance for university-sanctioned activities. Okay, so what that means is if a university-sanctioned activity, so that's like if you're on the debate team or the chorus, and you have and you have a travel schedule for chorus, or an athletics team, sports team, and you've got a travel schedule out of town, what your advisor or your coach will do is give you something called the program verification sheet. And then you give that to me, and that'll have your name and the schedule of travel, and hopefully nothing will interfere with exams. Now, if you travel on a lecture day, regular lecture, that's not a problem because we have everything on YouTube anyways. And all the homework's in web courses, so you can do that anywhere. But exams, we got to be here. So hopefully your travel schedule will not overlap with exams. But if it does, I've got to see that program verification sheet and make accommodations, try to work out some principle with you on that. Okay, continuing, top of the second column, first page. At the discretion of the instructor, the makeup may take any reasonable and appropriate form, including but not limited to the following: replacement exam, replacing missed work with the same score as a later exam, or allowing a dropped exam. Circle or underline that last phrase, allowing a dropped exam. That is what we will do. All right? We will have 3 midterms, as you can see a little further down the page. Midterm exam 1, 2, and 3. If you take 3 of them, we'll keep your best 2 grades and drop your lowest grade. All right? And that is how we, and if you have an absence, that's the grade that will be dropped. All right? Cheating. Any cheating I detect on exams will be punishable by no less than a 0 on the examination in question and up to expulsion from UCF, which we have done. I don't like to do it, but I will do it, and I have done it. So just be square. Operating another student side clicker is also cheating, so don't do that. All right, federal surveillance. Big brother. As of fall 2014, all faculty members are required to document students' academic activity at the beginning of each course. I'm making fun of it, but because it's pretty trivial, but it's unbelievable the regulations that are behind this. It's insanity. Anyways, in order to document that you began the course, please complete the assigned homework, hopefully tonight, during the first week of classes or as soon as possible after adding the course, up to and including January 13th. Failure to do so will result in a delay in the disbursement of your financial aid money. Note, we will use regular class homework in web courses to comply with this regulation. Okay, so you guys in the margin there, make a note. Homework 0. Homework 0 is our participation assignment for this paragraph. Okay, so the feds are going to go in and homework 0 is a 1-question homework assignment. It's super simple. All you got to do is go in there, read it, click an answer, ding, you're done. So even if you don't get the answer right, you've clicked. That's all that they are looking for. You might not realize that, but I don't mind telling you that this federal surveillance business, the way that it works here at UCF, probably a lot of other places, they look at the classroom management system, web courses, and they look for your clicks. So if you click on a web link, if you click on an assignment, if you click on a discussion, if you click on anything, they record it, and that means that you're participating. Grade scale. All right, semester grade scale is, oh boy, I have the typo on this one too. Gosh. No, we're just doing straight grades, no plus or minus this semester. And I do not grade on a curve. I never grade on a curve. I don't have to grade on a curve. And in my experience, and I've been teaching for quite a number of years, and I've observed other faculty abuse the curve, this process of grading on the curve, to basically write any exam they feel like. It's basically a license to be lazy. And then they write anything they want, and the average is 25 out of 100. And they say, oh, well, I'll just curve it. And so a 22 ends up being an A, 22 out of 100. And I've been in classes where they've done that. I had a 48 out of 100, and the instructor curved that to a B. I don't want a B under those conditions. And the really bad thing is, for students, that's for faculty. It's a bad attitude for faculty. I mean, there's legitimate reasons to curve, but I never feel obligated to use them. But for students, what it means is if I curve exams in this class, I would one of the implications of that is you can only give a certain number of A's. So if you have half the class crush the exam, you can't give an A to half the class. You have to get the people that ace it an A, and somebody that gets 99%, they get a B. That's no good, right? I set the criterion for your grades, and if I was going to curve grades, and I'll show you this on the first midterm or the second midterm how it works. It's a ripoff. It's a way for a lazy professor to make things look copacetic and nice, but it really rips off students. I just never do it. It's highly bogus. So I never grade on the curve. Okay, next paragraph. Strategy for taking down a top grade. Good. You'll find this course challenging but not impossible. Exams will have a lot of basic material. So if you do the normal amount of studying, and you come to class every day faithfully, and you do your homework, and maybe study with your roommate or study with a friend down the hall, or make friends here. I highly recommend that, finding a study partner. If you do that, you're going to find that the exams are going to be tough to flunk. All right? Because you're going to know, enough to do fair. You might not get an A, but you'll do all right. You won't flunk. But yet, if you go to above and beyond the call of duty, second paragraph. All right? So if you go to Caroline's office hours, if you go to Darian's office hours, if you go to my office hours, if you participate in discussions in web courses, if you go to SI 4 times a week, every week, if you listen to the YouTube lectures and redo your notes every time, if you review all your homework and all the in-class questions on clickers, you're still going to find it tough to ace. And by that I mean tough to get 100%. So tough to flunk, but yet tough to ace is generally how I write my exams. And it works out pretty good. My job is to teach you guys enough to, break the curve. Tough to flunk, tough to ace. If you break the curve, it's broken, baby. You get the grade. If you study, you're going to do all right. You might not get an A, but even if you, bust your you-know-what, you might get an A. You might get 100%, but boy, it's not easy. It can be done. It has been done, but it'll be a challenge. Who is that? I don't know, maniacs all over the place here at UCF, I guess. The things that you see at UCF, it just makes you laugh sometimes. What is that guy doing? Hey, why don't you say something back? Give me $20.
I don't think I should.
Ooh, you're right. You don't want to scare him. Why did that door just open?
It's the ghost of class for building.
Gosh, there's some guy out in the hall.
No,
There is. Did you see that guy out there?
I saw.
Gosh.
Do I need to go bounce?
It's the feds. They're checking up on your financial aid. All right. Let's look at this next table. Okay, the things that you have to do to get points. 250 points possible, excluding a few bonus points here and there. But for regular pointage, 250. Okay, 3 midterms, 50 points each, but we drop one of them. Okay, so that's a total of 100 out of 250. That's 40% of the grade. Homework, 25. Class participation, iClicker 2, that's 25 points. So those two are each 10%. Okay? And final exam, 100 points, 40% of your semester grade. Right? So those are the things that you've got to do. Now, class participation, that's every day. That's clicking in class. Homework, that's a couple times a week. Sometimes I give you the night off from homework, but usually you'll have 2 per week. So you do that faithfully, 25 out of 25. Okay, the grade scale's down there. Now, there's a typo on this, so I want you to be careful. I want you to make a note. It goes, the percentages are correct, but there's one. Can you see which point value is incorrect? Yeah, 178 is incorrect. So draw a line through 178 and write 188. For B, it should be 188 instead of 178. So write a line through 178 and in its place write 188. And that'll get you above 75%. Okay. Now all the other numbers are good. 90% of 250 is 225, so that one's good. 60% for a C, 60% of 250 is 150. Right? So that's good. And then 50% or more, that's a D. That's 125 points out of 250, so that one's good. And then F is below that. So sorry, it's a typo. It's my fault. But change that to 188 and we'll be good. All right, so so it's 90, 75, 60, 50. 90A, 75B, 60C, 50D, and below 50 is an F. By the way, I hardly ever give out Fs and very few Ds. And we'll get to that in a minute. As a matter of fact, let's do that right now. Page 2. Anybody here feel like dismissing early today? Okay. I think we might. We might get done with this in time to dismiss early. All right, so top page 2. Study diligently and faithful, and know that to prosper, to crush everything in your path, you must think. That's a good thing to point out. Think. You must think. if you're a person that's been in, I don't really know, maybe like anatomy. Anybody here been in an anatomy class? Just a couple. Because like anatomy class, you have to memorize a lot of stuff, right? Like a ton of stuff. Okay, flashcards and Quizlets and all that jazz, right? And I'm sure, is there another class that it's really good to memorize for? Can you think of? I mean, because raise your hand if you have a class that you know is. What do you think?
Maybe like a history class.
History class? Yeah. So maybe history. Yeah. Physiology and psychology. So if you're in a class like that and you really, oh man, flashcards, baby, I got a lockdown on it. That won't really work too good in this class. Memorizing is not what I emphasize. It is not what I expect. You're not going to have to memorize formulas. I'll be giving those to you on the first page of the test. You're not going to have to memorize the value of Newton's constant. I'll be putting that on the cover page of the test. Any kind of numbers like that I look up, because I don't memorize them, I'll put on the cover page of the test and the formula page of the test. And so you won't have to worry about memorizing. What you have to do is learn how to think about how to use a formula or how to use a quantity or how to figure out an interaction between two objects. And that is not easy. Matter of fact, that is the hard part. Even for physics majors and physics grad students, that is the hard. It's the concepts that are hard. It's not the math. I mean, you can hire an engineering major to do calculus till the cows come home. So that proves right there that it's not hard. It's the concepts that are hard, the thinking with concepts. And that's what's going to challenge you just as much as it would challenge a physics grad student. In other words, the exams that you're going to be taking are mostly multiple choice. And you'll have a few calculations that you'll enter using the iClicker. But I could write a multiple choice test that would put a grad student on their knees crying for their mama for difficulty. And you guys will be tackling stuff just as difficult, but you'll be ready for it. I'll show you how to learn it. That's my job. So you're going to be, this class is, everybody thinks, oh, physics, this is for people that suck, at science. I'm no good at science. I better just take physical science 1121. No, maybe some other college, but here, you're going to be challenged to think. And I never know who it is going to be. I'm just looking around. It could be you with the blue computer back there. It could be you with the LA Dodgers hat over there. Somebody is going to start thinking, I'm starting to get this stuff. I'm starting to really get. Don't shake your head. So why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I don't do it. Because I know that everybody, I never know who it's going to be, but I know it could be you. Don't shake your head like that again. When I'm around anyways. All right? It's because you're going to find out how to think. And that is going to, in turn, allow you to crush my exams with impunity, hopefully. And it happens every semester. I just never know. On the first day of classes, I don't know. But the last day of classes, I'll know. I'll know who's made the transition. And it could be, if you're a person that thinks, oh, I'm never going to be any good in physics. I'm never going to be good in science. La, 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 la. Every semester, it's somebody like that. And they'll come up to me, Dr. B, I never thought I'd be good in science, but I'm starting to really get this stuff. And look, I got a B+ on this exam. Or look, I got a 92% on this exam. That could be anybody. So look to the left. Look to the person on your left. No, that's the wall over there. You don't have to. Look to the person on your right. And then think to yourself, it could be them on the left or them on the right, or it could be me that starts to crush Physical Science 1121. And I mean it. I don't want anybody to talk themselves down, because I never do. And I will never do that. Okay? Other students, other faculty might disrespect you, but I'm not going to do that. I want to build you up. Because I know what you guys are capable of. All right, let's keep going. Strategy to bring home an F for a semester. One sentence. Very simple. Don't come to class and don't do any homework. You know, every semester I give out a few Fs. And it's usually, when I go and look at their grades and stuff, I think, wait a minute, they got an F? No. And when I look, they either didn't come to exams, they didn't do homework, or they didn't come to class because they didn't click anything. You know, they didn't have any clicks. And it's usually 2 or 3 of those put together. It's just, you know, so the secret to getting a decent grade, come to class, do your homework. Okay, homework. Let's talk more about that. Frequently assigned homework at the end of each lecture. Now, it's going to be due at the next lecture. Now, homework 0 tonight, hopefully, will not be due on Thursday. But normally, if I give you a homework assignment on the Tuesday afternoon, it'll be due on Thursday at 12:01 p.m. And if I give you an assignment on a Thursday afternoon, it'll be due on the following Tuesday at 12:01 p.m. All right, so you've got usually, you know, those 2 periods of time. The Tuesday assignments are usually a little smaller because you only have 2 days. And the Thursday assignments are usually a little bit bigger because you have a whole weekend to mess around with it. You'll always have at least 4 attempts on each homework. So I mean, you can do 1 attempt and see what you get wrong, and then go study with your roommate, or make friends with somebody here, study with them, and get second or third attempt, get full points. And then you're done. They're great study tools, and that's the way you should use them. Okay? 25 points for your semester grade that arise from homework. Performance, they're a straight multiplication of your percentage. So if you get 81.4%, that's the example here, 92 out of 113, then you multiply 25 points times 0.814, and that works out to 20.35, and that's your pointage. But then I always round up. So 20.35, I would round up to the next whole number, so that'd be 21. So I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt on rounding up on homework. And same with iClicker as well. Okay, using the iClicker, wait a minute, let me pause for questions. Yes? All homework is over web courses, that's correct. Yes?
Last class I had used an iClicker, the teacher said that we had to bring it to the professor programmed it. Is that going to be the same case here?
The last class that you were in, the professor said that you had to bring the iClicker to him, and he had to program it.
For a previous class,
Yeah.
she told us to bring it to her.
No, I'm not going to require. I'll show you. I'll describe how to register iClicker and stuff here. That's the next topic. Okay, let's keep going. iClicker. The very first sentence there in the next section about iClickers, register your iClicker to only through our web courses page. Now there's going to be a little link in the navigation panel on the upper left. It says iClicker. You click on that and you type in the serial number from the back of your iClicker. Ding, you're finished. By the way, do not try it with Safari on a Mac. But I think Chrome works good on a Mac, all right, to register. Okay, so I just downloaded Chrome for one of my Macs the other day. So There's no class code needed. You just have to type in your serial number in web courses. If it's not registered through web courses, I don't know your clicker from Adam. You know, and just so you know, you'll be able to take any clicker and click in an answer to one of my questions, and you'll get a little check mark. And that'll signify, yeah, Dr. B just caught your answer. You know, like the letter C or 4.9 or something like that. But that doesn't mean I know who it was that sent me that, unless you register in web courses. Now, we don't use iClicker.com. You might for another class, but for this class, you have to use web courses. And what it does, it tags up your iClicker serial number and your NID. And then I'll know who's clicking, you know, when I get a signal from your iClicker. But until you do that, I'll have it, but, you know, and I'll have the serial number, but it could be, President Obama out in the parking lot clicking, you know, for all I know. So you just got to register in web courses. All right. Now, next paragraph. The deadline for registering the iClicker is January 31st. Okay, so that's 3 weeks from today. Okay, today's the 10th, 17th, 24th, 31st. Okay. And hey, you guys, if you're registered by this Thursday, we'll have some iClicker questions for practice. You know, cinchy ones, easy ones. You know, like something easy. You know, like maybe Pythagorean theorem or something cinchy. And you'll get a bonus point for your semester grade if you've registered by this Thursday. And then we'll do some more practice questions next Tuesday, and then next Thursday, and then the Tuesday after that, and the Thursday after that, and then the Tuesday after that will be January 31st, and that's when regular iClicking will commence. Okay, so you have a couple weeks to get it, get your iClicker, get it registered and stuff, and then you'll get bonus points for being registered as early as you can. All right, so if you get registered by it and register it tomorrow, you'll have 5 bonus points to start the semester with. That's pretty sweet. All right. Exam attendance is mandatory, but regular lecture attendance is not mandatory. That being the case, there's a built-in leeway for 1 or 2 absences due to a dentist appointment, etc. All right. You must, and here's the leeway. You must answer 85% of the questions to get all the points, 25 out of 25. In other words, you don't have to answer 100% of them. You don't have to have 100% participation. You only have to have 85% participation. So if I answer 7 questions a day, or if I ask 7 questions a day, and that leads up to 100 questions by the end of the semester, then if you miss 2 lectures, that's like 86%. You're still good, right? So the 85% gives you 1 or 2 lectures to burn. You know, so if you forget your clicker or something. Now, don't forget it on exam day, though. That will be a pain in the neck. But lecture, yeah, you can. So if you've got a missed lecture, don't come up and say, Dr. B, can I have an excused absence for a lecture next Tuesday? No, you don't have to do that. If it's a lecture. But an exam, no, you don't want to. You want to be present for those. All right. Next paragraph. You must answer 85% of all lecture questions, whether correctly or incorrectly, in order to get all 25 points for your semester grade. More than 85% answered, 25 out of 25. Ting! Fewer than 85% answered, then we make your pointage proportional. Now, I'll put a PDF, narrated PDF, what I call a talking PDF, in web courses probably tonight that works out an example. You'll be able to download the PDF and you'll actually be able to listen to it and follow my discussion of how to do the points for iClicker. To earn class participation points, you must do 3 things. You have to actually have it with you in lecture, the clicker. It has to be in working order. And C, it has to be registered. Okay, so if you fail with any of those 3, you won't get points that day. Matter of fact, if you don't register, you won't get points on any day. Right, so you just got to get that done first. Then it's got to be with you in class. Okay. Questions about that? Those guys behaving themselves now? Okay, good. I was getting a little nervous over there. Tell you. All right, let's keep going. Combination of clicking and homework. Dude, they add up to 50 points. That's the same as a midterm. And they're easy money. Do your homework, you're going to get 25 out of 25, or maybe 24 out of 25. Same thing with clicking. If you're here in class, you got your clicker, because the participation points, you don't have to have it correct. You just have to have an answer. You have to participate. So that's easy to get 50 out of 50 or 49 out of 50. And even if you're somebody that, oh man, I got a 32 out of 50 and a 27 out of 50, and those are my best 2 of my 3 midterms, but I've got a 49 out of 50 homework and participation. That is sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. But you won't know what you get till the end of the semester. So you got to persevere all through the semester to get that 50 out of 50 from these 2. And if you do, you're going to be smiling at the end of, in the end of April. Exam procedures. Yeah, Scantron, UCF raspberry colored Scantron has the little Pegasus logo on it. You can buy packets of 6, various SGA office up on the 2nd floor. Is they still do that? SGA, 1 free per day, 1 per day free. Number 2 pencil. Get a good eraser. We had some students that had a Scantron, and then they tried to erase it, and then it smudged, but then even a good eraser couldn't erase the smudge. And so get one of those little rectangular pink erasers, like from 3rd grade, and they're actually the best. Hey, can you give me my red bindle there? Yeah. So I actually have one in here for emergencies. See, one of these jobs, okay? Get you one of those. See, and I got a bunch of pencils in here and stuff. Anyways, calculator. A scientific calculator is fine. Buy one for $15 in the bookstore. Easy as walking through the park. And anything that's got a square root key is, pretty much going to be enough. A scientific calculator is going to have way more than you're going to need, but it'll be fine. You cannot use a cell phone on a test, so you cannot use a cell phone calculator on the test. And I have an Apple, an iPhone, and it's got a nice calculator, but you can't use that on the test. All right? As is customary, top of the 2nd page. As is customary, if you take all 3 midterms, we will drop the lowest score and keep the best 2 scores. Most of you will be at all 3 midterms. This is highly, highly, highly desirable. If you miss an exam due to absence, either excused or unexcused, that is effectively a 0, and that will be the exam score that is dropped. So if you have a doctor's appointment that you cannot change, you're excused, but then that exam is the one that you're going to drop. Right? Now, I've given you, at the very bottom of the page, you have all 4 exam dates. So program those into your calendar on your phone, and do not take any appointments or anything like that on those dates. And hopefully you'll be one of the people, and most of you will be. You know, it's well over 80% every semester. They're here for all 3 midterms, which is what you want to be. Because then you have the luxury of dropping your stinkiest grade. And that feels really good. Okay? You know, because almost nobody's going to have 3 identical grades. So almost everybody's going to have at least one grade that's lower than the others. All right? And it's going to feel good to drop it. Next paragraph. The final exam is cumulative, mandatory, cannot be dropped. You know, in the previous class, about 3 minutes after I read that aloud, a student raised their hand. Dr. B, is the final exam cumulative? Yes, the final exam is cumulative. You are well advised. That should be, all right, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. Right side, page 2. You are well advised to make sure your schedule is clear on Tuesday, May 2nd. That should be April 27th. Make sure your schedule is clear on, and I think it's a Thursday. Can somebody look that up? April 27th. I think it's a Thursday. Okay, so April 27th is Thursday. So write that in there. Sorry, that's a carryover from the other section. They test on May 2nd. You guys test on April 27th. Until mid-afternoon. Do not schedule airline tickets, cruises, and stuff. Work on your job off campus till well after 1. I have priority on your time, first priority on your time till 12:50, and I never budge. So if you have a job off campus and your boss wants you to work that day, tell them Dr. B is an SOB about it. A son of a brickner. Because I am. I mean, I never budge. Right? You just got to be there. I've got first dibs on it. This is university. This isn't nursery school, where you get a little trophy for participating and all that stuff. You got to cut you got to cut it. You got to do it. That's what I expect. Okay, last sentence. Make perfect attendance on your 4 exam dates your absolute priority, and you'll be happy about it. Okay, bonus points. We'll have some bonus point activity from time to time. Not much, but we'll have a little bit. Early iClicker registrations. We traditionally start the semester with that. Special study groups. This is a good topic. Everybody always likes special study groups. If possible, we'll form special study groups, SSGs, after exam 2. They'd be led by students who have earned an A average on the first 2 midterms. So like a 46 and a 44, that adds up to 90 out of 100. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll look for those students that have a good high average, and I'll ask them if they wanted to be a special study group leader. And for those who agree, and the terms are that they lead a 1-hour study session for 6 other students in the weekend before exam 3. And then again during finals week to prepare for the final exam. Okay. The students that participate will earn 4 bonus points. SSG leaders will hold 1 study session prior to exam 3 and another prior to the final. SSG leaders traditionally receive a special bonus to be announced later. Well, I may as well announce it now. If I invite you to become a special study group leader, and if you hold your session, students sign up for it, then you hold it, you help the students for an hour, you take attendance and all that stuff, you give me the attendance sheet, and then you do the same thing again during exam week for the final, 2nd session, and you give me the exam sheet for that, then the bonus that you get, the benefit that you get, is you're excused from the final. which is nice. So, if you want to, I see a lot of smiles in this classroom right now. Yeah, that's going to be me, Dr. B. I'm going for it. You go for it. Just go for it. First 2 exams, and then if I invite you, and then you do it, and you get to skip the final, is that sweet or what? I mean, it's really nice. And then the 6 students that sign up, they'll get 4 bonus points. And on top of that, they'll be studying with you, and and you guys that study and participate, you'll be getting bonus points, and you'll probably do maybe another 2 or 3 extra questions correctly or more on exam 3 and on the final. And that'll be beneficial. And so everybody wins if we do it right. Right? Now, just a word of caution. There's never enough special study group leaders so that everybody in class can participate. And sometimes it's not even a third of the class can participate. So, you got to be able to sign up as soon as sign-ups are available in the work-in web courses. And we'll see, it'll be a couple months before we get to that point, but it works good. Questions about that? Okay, let's keep going. YouTube lectures, I've already mentioned that. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll be uploading this lecture in a little bit, next half hour. Exam schedule. Now this exam schedule, you've got it in your hot little hands right now. This handout. That means this is your it's like a contract. Okay? I'm going to hold you to it. And so you may come up to me and say, Dr. B, can I take the exam, or can I take exam 2 early? Because I have a special part-time job in Hawaii for spring break as a hula dancer. Believe it or not, I had a student that actually told me that once. And no early exams. Just this is it. We've got a whole ton of students that have got to get through a gate, and we're not going to complicate things with early and late things. So just think of that as a contract, including the final. Now, Homework 0 will activate by supper time, hopefully sooner. You're dismissed. 108, 12 minutes early. I'll see you on Thursday. Come on up front if you have any questions.